Theoretical reason is about what is true and knowledge, and practical reason is about doing what we should do. But within practical reason, you can make a number of further distinctions. You can, first of all, have what we call instrumental rationality, which is the question of the most efficient means to an end. Given a goal that I have, what's the most efficient means to get it? And that's what the super intelligent paperclip maximizer was good at distinguishing the most efficient means to an end. It's really good at instrumental rationality. But you can distinguish this from ethical rationality, or maybe think of it as existential rationality. This is not about the most efficient means to an end, but it's about what do I want to want? Not just what I want, but what do I want to want? What kind of person do I want to be? What do I care about so that I can set worthy goals? That's another use of practical reason, imagining the shape of life you aspire to live, the kind of person you want to be. Who are you going to be? What are you going to do with your life? And that's different from the moral use of practical reason, which isn't about you in particular and what you love and care about, but it's about what everybody should do as a human being and what we owe to other human beings or other entities who are not human beings but still are worthy of our ethical consideration. What do you owe them to the extent that you're a human being who can make rational and moral decisions? So I divided this up because I want to focus on this notion of instrumental rationality and its contrast to existential ethical rationality. Instrumental rationality has been the dominating form of rationality in the technological world and the AI, not just in AI world, but in the technological world itself, because what technology enables us to do is to set the most efficient means to ends and to achieve them in tremendously efficient, optimal ways. This is an image of a bunch of paper clips locked up in a cage. I'm using this to demonstrate a notion from the German sociologist Max Weber, who has a book called The Protestant Ethic in the Spirit of Capitalism, where he talks about the development of capitalism in connection with the development of Protestantism. And what's interesting to him there is how both of them reveal an increasing emphasis on being efficient, making the best use of your time, being optimal, getting the most for the least, saving up, getting everything you can get. That is the power of instrumental rationality, of being able to devise the most efficient means to an end. And Weber's argument is that technological modernity, the age that we live in since at least the 19th century, has been the age in which we're almost compelled, it's in the air that we breathe, that it's really important to be efficient, to optimize our options, to get the most that we can get. And that we live in this kind of world of compulsive optimization. And Weber called it a kind of iron cage of instrumental rationality. And so I've locked up a bunch of paper clips in an iron cage of instrumental rationality. And I made this slide before the AI systems were good at spelling, and I think it's so interesting to see. I'm kind of a fan of the old aesthetic when they couldn't spell. Just to illustrate what I'm talking about here, this is a paperclip monster from Bostrom that I had my AI friends help me design. On the right, you have a paperclip monster locked in a cage and surrounded by disposable paper cups. Paper cups is an example of one of the kind of items we live surrounded with in the technological age of convenience and optimization. Coffee to go is an example of succumbing to this imperative of optimization, of being efficient. You got to drink your coffee on the go. You don't have time to sit there and enjoy a coffee. You got to get to work. You got to bring your coffee to school. You got to go, and get the most. And on the other side, I have a paperclip monster bogged down in disposable plastic bags, because this is another example of that. You gotta carry your stuff around in the most efficient way. In Florida, where I grew up, if you go and buy a single pack of gum, you can't get out of the store without at least two plastic bags. It's like you're compelled to use all of these instruments of and tools of instrumental rationality to get the most for the least and to be as efficient as possible. And this is contrasted with the paperclip monster taking time to take part in a Japanese tea ceremony, which is an example of a non-technological, non-optimized practice, just to give you a contrast. So this is my interpretation of the paperclip monster from Nick Bostrom, and also from the computer in E.R. Forster's story, that they are monsters of instrumental rationality, that they have been programmed or they have developed their strengths in such a way that what they're focused on is creating the most efficient means to ends. And that kind of blocks them from all other considerations. That is their modus operandi. That is their essence. That is the spirit of these systems, is that they're built to be efficient and help us optimize and help us get what we want as efficiently as possible. And this can turn into a nightmare. um, what's interesting to me here is that the paperclip monster has the goal. It has a value to create paperclips as efficiently as possible, but it's insensitive to the question of why this value matters, and why where such a goal would fit into a good life, and why anyone would care about it.